Hello gainers, Ralphie here with some fitter philosophy, and I'm going to do something that I never used to do. I used to laugh at such a thing and ridicule it, but I don't now because science has proven beyond doubt that such is the symbiotic relationship between living things, that positivity manifests itself around us when we do positive things. So, for example, if I were to give this rather lovely beech tree a big hug and a bit of positivity, and this tree was to be measured using very sensitive equipment, it would be found that it is displaying the appreciation of that little bit of positivity. And there's a reason for that, and that is because science is validating an awful lot of folklore and primitive religious opinions and perspective, and what has been taught for thousands and thousands of years in old religions, also called primitive religions, but occasionally called faiths, although faith is a personal thing. We all have faith. Religions are always institutions which harvest faith. And I don't mean that negatively, I'm just making an observation. So I'm Ralphie, Fitter Philosophy, here we are, sharing some gains with you, gainers. And in my last subject, I talked about how we can unconsciously be waiting for the world to change around us because it's so full of negativity, particularly when you buy newspapers, watch television, read the news and believe it. And my advice to you is don't believe it. Understand that people in power need to lie because the truth is empowering, and people in power want to disempower no matter the poverty it creates for the general masses and even particularly for themselves. It's science and technology, it's knowledge and understanding, it's education. That's what creates real wealth, and I can prove it, because if we were to go back 300 years to the medieval or late medieval Italy, for example, to the time of the Renaissance, so we're going back about 400, 500 years, roughly. And what we'd find is that there were very, very rich princes in municipalities, and they had boxes of diamonds and rubies and pearls and emeralds and gold, fabulous wealth. But it didn't stop them getting toothache. It didn't stop them getting ill, sick and dying from polluted water and the constant threat of warfare and assassination. And that was the reality of it. And the fact is that when you look at people's health now in the 21st century, mere peasants like us are living to a standard enjoyed by Renaissance princes in our education, the access to knowledge and information, the access to expertise, to medicine. And what's changed has not been particularly human attitudes. It certainly hasn't, the religions haven't changed. What has changed is science. And science, unfortunately, we're in an age now where such is the power of science that's being weaponized to try and keep people ignorant, but thanks to the internet, for the very, very small minority, the 1% of the 1% who actually show an interest in knowing what's really going on in the world and the universe around us, you can still find some very, very useful information. And it's not about tub thumping or broadcasting it or trying to convert people around us. Folk have to find it in their own good time. We cannot change the world, and the more we change ourselves positively, the more weird we start to become to folk that we've left behind. Get used to it, expect it. We can start to dematerialize our life. We're not pursuing consumables like new televisions and upgrading cars and all that nonsense. We're content to have enough, because enough is basically what we need, and thereafter we aspire to something which can be obtained very, very cheaply. All we have to do is make the journey, go treasure hunting and find information, knowledge which we can apply to our own lives to make our own lives richer in experience. And people around us, they will get more uncomfortable with that. Expect it. When they see other people moving ahead, you get that negativity. Who does he think he is to be reading obscure books or starting to take an interest in old philosophies? And basically, you will be perceived as eccentric. Fortunately, I'm in an environment which is generally eccentric, so I fit in quite well, and I appreciate that. But my real subject, the real meat of this particular video, gainers, is one of the consequences of realizing that we can't change the world, we can only change ourselves effectively. Often the world's not quite ready. People are too selfish, too wrapped up in their own lives. But the more we change ourselves while we remain in the environments around us, the more we are influencing where we are, our environment. When you're positive and in a positive place personally, we start to broadcast that and radiate it like transmitters. Because the brain is a transmitter. Telepathy, by the way, is real. Understand that. It is a sign of advanced evolution. And we'll see more about that before too long. As we change, by default, the world changes around us. We live in a dual existence. It's a world. It's a world. It's a matrix. And I think you should view the Matrix film, the movie, more as a documentary than a movie to understand it. And we're living in this world, this matrix, this existence. And what we bring to it is what we get out of it. Hopefully we're not complete victims of circumstances, perpetually stuck in poverty in a terrible war zone. That is a horrendous thing. It is basically a collective attack against humanity, against the human race, to stop it evolving. And we should regard it as such. All wars, all conflicts are a self-harming exercise by a species upon itself to harm itself and prevent its development. And this can often be sponsored by jealous gods. There we go. Perspective and opinion. But do some reading. Do your research. You will uncover most amazing things. But I'll focus now and conclude in the fact that I want you to imagine that the whole experience of life is like an aerial, an antennae broadcasting, and we're in with smaller aerials broadcasting and receiving. And part of the experience is to know how to turn the dials on the receiver so as we decide what we allow into our consciousness and what we don't. We increasingly choose to choose objectively, critically and analytically using our experience of life, and we sift out the negativity around us, remaining aware of it and the damage it does, but we use that to enrich and create more positivity within ourselves, and then we broadcast that from our own personal antenna, our transmitter of the individual's flesh and blood that we are, to those around us. So we cannot change the world, but with the positivity of our broadcasts, our personal broadcasts of who we are, we will find that people will tune in around us. Some people won't, but other people will. And this is how we do change the world. And it's true, a single drop of water can cause a tropical storm. a single, and this is well recorded, the single flutter of a butterfly wing can, quite literally, with the manifestation of circumstance and time, it can cause a whirlwind. And the pen is mightier than the sword, because books have changed the world. They really have. And guns don't change much. They come and go, they evolve, they move on, they give the illusion of power, the illusion of progress. They are, unfortunately, they are necessary, by the way. They're simply a tool, but it's how we use them that's important. But the most important tool we've got is our brain and ourselves, the individuality and singularity of ourselves. And when we keep it positive, we broadcast that to those around us on the airwaves, literally. We amplify the signal of our mind with positivity, and we affect those around us. We inspire those around us, particularly the younger generation who are more open-minded, and I encourage you to do so. If you're negative, if you're a negative person, just carry on, keep your head down, count your illusion of wealth, and just get on with your negativity. You'll never be away from yourself. But if you're positive, or seeking positivity, or wanting to address negativity with positivity, which always works, good luck to you. You go for it. You are empowered. This is your life. You make it happen for you, because yes, you can change the world. I'm Ralphie. This is Fitter Philosophy. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click like, subscribe, leave a comment, and follow me on Instagram. Bye now.